Greg, the mold detective. People hire me to do mold inspections. They call me when they see something, when they smell something, or they suspect something. They're afraid because there's a lot of misinformation about mold out there right now, and there are people that will take advantage of that. A job is what it is. I don't add to it. I don't take away from it. I do an inspection and give them a written report on what I find upon that day at that time. The minute my rear leaves the building, something may be watered or something may break, and then you have another issue. So upon this day at this time, upon close personal inspection, this is what I find, and that's what my report reads. I help people with indoor air quality problems. I work for the high school district, for the housing authorities, for homeowners, for apartment complexes, for hospitals, for banks. I have done doctors, lawyers, but no Indian chiefs yet. I love what I do. I love helping people. My husband runs our Abbey Carpet franchise. We've had that for 25 years. I run our Service Master franchise. I've been associated with that for 18 years. And then on my inspections, I've been doing that for several years. I'm a member of the National Association of Mold Professionals. If you go to moldpro.org, click on California, click on Kern County, I'm the only one in there. I'm the only one in several counties. I'm nationally certified to do what I do. I love to find the source of a problem, or sources. I don't stop when I find one thing. I make sure there's only one thing that's causing the problem. I do indoor air quality problems for people that are elderly, for infants. Infants' immunization systems are not fully formed yet. Elderly people, it's compromised. Their immunization system is compromised by age or illness. HIV or transplants, they're compromised and open to anything that's in the air. Mold is ubiquitous. The spores are everywhere. You breathe it in, you eat it, or you have skin contact with it. And that's when it can affect you. Some people are genetically predisposed to have respiratory problems, which is one of the things associated with long-term exposure on mold. If you grew up as a child in a house with a lot of mold, you're going to be affected to a greater degree later on in your life if mold becomes active in your home. I've seen mold growing in ice. I've seen mold growing on the spatula. I've seen mold in the oddest places, and I've done a lot of inspections. I have a lot of really neat stories about mold. I don't really know what else you want to know about me. Personally, I'm a reader. I read. I don't watch hardly any TV. I just read. I love reading cookbooks. My husband says I read them like novels, and my friends occasionally will let me cook for them. Then if enough time goes by, they will forget how bad I cooked and let me do it again. But I do love to cook. I don't cook well, but I do love to cook. And I love to garden. So that's basically what I do. I work.
Tell us about the grave that you found with that.
Great. Okay. All right. I'm also a IICRC teacher, Institute of Inspection, Restoration, and Certification, Cleaning and Certification. In our industry, that is the standards by which you're sued. Those are industry standards. And I teach for odor. I love the subject of odor. A good doctor can diagnose you when you walk into the office by your smell. Now, he'll give you the full examination, but he'll know what your problem is when you walk in from the smell. Odor is, I could talk for hours on odor. I love the subject. Driving 65 miles an hour down the freeway and you smell a skunk that's been decomposing for 6 weeks, how is that possible? Think of the magnitude of the concentration of odor. But anyway, mold has an odor. Mold has different types of odors. So sometimes you can know what to look for by the odor. So when you walk into a house and you smell a certain smell, and I react to certain types of smells, or I react to certain types of mold that is actively growing in the house, I know what to look for. So that's always fun. But okay, the grave. I have an infrared camera. The infrared camera is based off of heat differences. You can scan a wall. If something's decomposing in the wall, I can see it, the outline of it. A woman buried her dog, and she didn't mark the grave. And when I went over to do an inspection, she saw me do the infrared, and she asked about it, and I told her what it was, and she asked me to go find where her dog was buried, and I did. When I was teaching a class, one of my students came up and said, well, you're doing infrared? I said, I've done it for years. He said, I can teach you how to find bodies. And I said, fresh? He said, no. I said, well, if it's not decomposing, how can you locate it? He said, because when you bury a body, the earth reflects the light differently. So I took it out to the local cemetery, and it's true. I found a body, which I have a picture on my camera. It's reclining on the side. Now, you expect to find bodies in the cemetery, but this was in a grassy section with no headstone. That's where I went, and it works. You really find them. But you can find, the search and rescue called me up and talked to me about finding the little boy's body that they figure his mother tossed in a mine. And I said, I would love to do that. I would love to help you, but if I go down in the mine, I have to be able to sure that I can come back out of the mine. So the only thing I am asking is it safe to go in there? If it's safe to go in there, I'll go in there with my camera, and we'll see if we can find the body. I had a lady call me in a complete panic. She had found an orange mold. I've seen mold in a lot of different colors. In fact, as long as I've been in it, the other day I found white stocky buttress, and I'd never seen that before. I've seen it blue and green and black, but never white, and it was absolutely fascinating. It was, anyway, films like cotton. Stachybotrys is the most potent black toxic mold. However, I personally think that Penicillium aspergillus is more prevalent. It grows first. Over 400 species of it, all of them are allergenic, and that is what a person is going to react to before Stachy. Stachy takes a long time to develop, and it requires a lot of water before it starts putting out. It doesn't even have to put out the spores. That's the odd thing about Stachy. It can be present and not even put the spores in the air. So I saw she called me about an orange mold. Well, I'd never seen orange, so I was intrigued. So I went over to her house, and she wouldn't let me come in the house. She said it's outside. Okay, so all right. She takes me to this little wooden box, and she flips the lid off the box, and I went and looked, and I said, So I went to my van, I got my little saw, and I came and I sawed off a piece of the orange mold, and it was plumber's foam. Then I went into her house and found two places in her home that she had active mold problems, and she wasn't even aware of it. So people are scared of what they don't know, and it can harm them if they don't know what they're dealing with. Another thing is there's a lot of foreclosures. Being in Service Master, we get people that don't turn emergency services in. If you don't turn them in and don't do them right, you can develop mold. If you're in the process of losing your home and it's going to go to foreclosure, there are all kinds of problems can develop. The most saddest call I got the other day